CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. President Trump's worried about them, and so should you. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Instead of focusing on winning arguments, we're teaching the basic fundamentals of sales and marketing and how we can use them to win in the world of politics, teaching you how to meet people where they're at on the issues they care about. Welcome to The Brian Nichols Show.
Well, hey there, folks. Brian Nichols here on The Brian Nichols Show. Thank you for joining us on, of course, another fun-filled episode. I am, as always, your humble host, joining you live from our Cardio Miracle Studios here in lovely Eastern Indiana. The Brian Nichols Show is powered, yes, by viewers like you, but also by AMP America. Really excited to be part of the AMP America team. Learn more over at AMP America. Link in the show notes. Also, shout out to our awesome studio sponsor, Cardio Miracle. I've been using Cardio Miracle now for just about 6 months, and I gotta tell you, the Cardio Miracle difference, 100% real. Family history of high blood pressure. I was looking for really anything out there outside of the big pharma drugs that would help lower my blood pressure, and Cardio Miracle seems to be the perfect answer to my prayers. Nitric oxide is its secret ingredient, and it now is my secret ingredient to having better sleep, better workouts, plus more energy throughout the day. So if you want to join the tens of thousands of other folks who are experiencing the Cardio Miracle difference for themselves, well, please head to the show notes here. Click the link. It'll bring you right over to our friends over at Cardio Miracle. And do yourself a favor. Use code TBNS, 15% off your order. And yes, I can guarantee the heart health difference is in fact real. So go ahead, get your order today. And by the way, there's been 100% money back guarantee. So you have nothing to lose besides those sleepless nights. And yes, of course, go ahead and improve your heart today. One more time, Cardio Miracle. Yes, the best heart health supplement in the world. All right, going forward to today's episode, CBDCs, Trump, and all that and more. Joining us once again, Clay Clark. Welcome back to the Brian Nichols Show. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I really am excited to be here with you, and I think we have a lot of knowledge bombs we can share, but I encourage everybody, get out a pen and a pad and prepare to enter into the dojo of Mojo Faux Show, because we're going to throw down some very profound facts that you need to know.
I love it. Well, let's start off here because I know before we hit the record button, Clay, you mentioned Donald Trump's talking about some stuff. Vivek Ramaswamy is talking about some stuff. There was actually a video my buddy Clint Russell recently shared over on Twitter. Let's go ahead, take a quick look at this video, and then I want to get your thoughts here about CBDCs here, Clay. Let's take a listen.
And this I do for Vivek because he's very big into it. I happen to agree with him, but he said, "Could you mention this?" I will never. He said, "I love Vivek. I love him too now. I didn't love him when he was running, but I like him now." It's amazing the way you can like somebody when you win, right? But Vivek is great. He's really great. But he wanted this, and I'll give him full credit for it. It's very important, actually. I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency.
All right, Clay, let's talk about that. Central bank digital currencies. Why is Trump against it? Why is Vivek against it? And why should the audience be aware and against it as well?
Well, let me walk the listeners through what it means, and I encourage everybody to go to timetofreeamerica.com, and I have a button there called CBDCs where you can find all the facts, timetofreeamerica.com, click on the CBDC buttons. Here we go. Everybody, do a Google search right now for MIT quantum dot. This is an awkward show. You're waiting. Yeah, just everybody do a search right now for MIT quantum dot. This is such a weird show. Just do a search for MIT quantum dot, all right? So MIT's developed a quantum dot that stores your medical and financial records under your skin. That same lab, do a search for MIT CBDCs. So MIT created what's called the central bank digital currency, CBDCs. So the same lab that created the quantum dot is creating the CBDCs. And now go to the website quant.network. Quant.network is the website that explains to you the technology. Quant.network is the technology that will be used to implement the central bank digital currency system. Now let's continue. Stay with me, folks. This is going to blow your mind. So everyone needs to look it up here. Type in Georgia Tech graphene semiconductors. Georgia Tech graphene semiconductors. Georgia Tech announced that they are now using graphene to produce semiconductors. Graphene, by the way, which is inside the shots, the COVID shots. Now, everybody do a search for this, okay? Type in Russia, China, quantum communication. You'll find a Newsweek article. Russia and China announced the same week that Georgia Tech announced graphene is being used to produce semiconductors. By the way, semiconductors are the basis of all technology, computers, smartphones, refrigerators, etc. Russia and China announced that they are using quantum computing to communicate. So what am I saying? I'm saying that the basis of quantum technology is graphene, and that is inside the shots. And the name of this technology being used to power the central bank digital currencies is called quant.network, or the quantum dot, MIT quantum dot. I'm saying the lab that created the quantum dot also created CBDCs. I am also saying this laboratory was funded by Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates. Bill Gates, the guy who has a satanic spiritual advisor, Marina Abramovich, and Jeffrey Epstein, the world's most prolific pedophile who was so dedicated to Satan, he put a temple on his island to pray to Satan. So I'm telling you,
best folks, Clay, the best folks.
Satan is developing technology that functionally works as though the mark of the beast, where you can't buy or sell without it. And they are practically introducing a technology called quant.network, which stores your medical and financial records under your skin. That's what's happening. So whether Vivek says it, whether President Trump says it, central bank digital currencies is programmable money that you can turn on or off based upon someone's physical location, based upon their private conversations, based upon their motivations, based upon their thoughts, based upon what they've bought, based upon really any sort of narrative. And they call this non-binary money. And the CEO of Quant.network, Gilbert Verdian, describes it as non-binary money, programmable money, aka the death of freedom. That's what we're talking about.
Programmable money. So let's maybe dig into that a little bit more, because I mean, your average person who's not into this world, Clay, they're hearing this for the first time. They're like, oh, so like credit cards, right? Is that what you're referring to? But no, this is a lot more, I guess, a lot more personal in terms of not only can it be turned on and off like a credit card, but this is now going into the very fibers of who we are as a being, right?
Let me give you an example, Brian, and this is powerful. Okay, so I'm not fishing for clients. I'm just trying to give a little context. So if anybody goes to thrivetimeshow.com, I think the only reason that I'm relevant to these sorts of discussions is because of the business success I've had. And if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can see what I do. But years ago, Brian, I worked with a client over 10 years ago. True story. And I helped him grow his business dramatically. He's not a legal partner. And Brian, you tell me the ethics of this. He's not a legal partner. So we're not a partnership. It's a month-to-month coaching service. I helped him grow the business dramatically. He gets divorced. His ex-wife is now in a feud. So my former client is in a feud with his ex-wife, who I've never met, right? And she's emailing me a few months back, massive amounts of emails wanting me to make critical and time-consuming website updates to a website that I haven't worked with in over a decade. And she wants me to make updates immediately, urgent emails, urgent updates to a website that I haven't been in control of for over 10 years. This is the ex-wife of a former client that I've never met. Think about this now. So what would you do, Brian, if you try to nicely tell somebody, hey, we haven't worked with you in over a decade. Furthermore, I don't know who you are. I appreciate you. I'm trying to communicate this over the phone. And they're going, you need to update this. It's very urgent. I appreciate you got the Christmas special. Christmas is around the corner. But I have 160 clients that pay me. I don't have access to your website. I don't have access to your GoDaddy. I don't have access to your site, your logins. So you'll need to reach out to your web provider or the last web providers you've used over the past decade. And she's like, well, this is just like my ex-husband freeing me out of my web, freezing me out of the site. And I go, I love you so much. I got 5 kids, I'm trying to save America, a lot of things going on. I appreciate you, but I cannot help you. Oh, are you kidding me? And just, and I recognize, okay, what we have to do is we have to hit the block button. Now, this is what you do. You block, you tell someone, hey, we got to wrap it up here, right? So you block them on the phone, you block them on the email, and you move on because you can't solve it, okay? So the conservative voice, the voice that will not give in to the satanic Great Reset agenda, the people like you, Brian, the people like your listeners, we will not give up. So the only way to stop the conversation is to do what? Mute our mic. stop our ability to communicate. So this technology would work like this. If you and I went to the store, by the way, they've already perfected it in China, okay? And by the way, China has already they've already constructed what's called the New Development Bank. It is a physical structure. Everyone should look it up right now. The New Development Bank, NDB Bank, it is based in Shanghai, China. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they've already teamed up together to hoard the Earth's gold. They've already now doubled their size. They just added Iran, Egypt, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia. They added all these countries. BRICS has now doubled in size. They now control 6 out of the 10 largest oil-producing nations are now members of BRICS. They've already perfected the kinks in what's called BRICS Pay, and they've already discussed introducing a new currency. So these people that are tyrannical, that are in favor of dictatorships, these people, meaning China, the CCP, home of forced organ harvesting, home of re-education camps, these people in China, they want to be the leaders of said new currency. And that's why they built the New Development Bank in Shanghai, China. That is their plan, is to make it where you can't buy or sell, where no person can buy or sell without a mark.
Brian Nichols Show here. AMP America is powering us. And Clay, with that being said, I want to maybe dig into a little bit of, well, what can we do right now? Donald Trump's talking about this. Very good to hear. You're hearing more and more folks who, on our side of the aisle, are starting to talk about this. But in order to make some change, we got to get some folks out there actually getting things into motion. So what would you say are some actual tangible action items that people can take right now as we're starting to get up and up towards the tip of this cliff of CBDC coming into our lives?
Well, let's talk about it for a second. I want to respect your show sponsors and make sure your show sponsors get some love because obviously they support your great program. Do you team up with a precious metals company? Do you have somebody that you recommend or you work with?
Not yet. It's in the works.
So this is just being very clear, very objective. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they've been hoarding the Earth's gold in preparation to move away from fiat or currency via decree and to introduce a gold-backed programmable central bank digital currency. So regardless of who you buy from, and I'll tell people who I buy from a company called Beverly Hills Precious Metals. You can look them up. They're bh-pm.com, bh-pm.com. To be very objective with you, again, I've also had a great experience with goldline.com over the years, but I buy often from bh-pm.com. So whoever you buy from, you need to schedule a consultation to get out of the fiat currency as quickly as possible before your fiat currency it's not worth less, it's worthless. Okay. Because once these countries announce they're rolling out a new currency that's gold backed, that's going to be a problem. So that's, local action makes a national impact, to quote General Flynn. Second, you got to get involved. I mean, everybody out there, we've got to make sure Trump gets back in the White House. This is the only realistic candidate talking about stopping central bank digital currencies. So you need to get President Trump in office. So what can you do? I would recommend you share shows like this, Brian, like you have a psychological problem. Brian, I'm sure you've never met somebody who became a new multi-level salesperson or a new life insurance salesperson or a new used car salesperson. Usually when somebody becomes a used car salesperson or a life insurance salesman or a multi-level marketer, what they do is they start contacting everybody over and over and over, like they have a psychological problem. This is how they do it. They go, boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, Carl, yeah, I was talking to your friend Brian up here, and Brian thought it'd be a good idea if we connected.
And now at no point have I talked to Brian. Brian's not a big fan of this idea, but I go, this is how the high pressure salespeople work.
And so I was thinking about you, and I wanted to see if we could meet at Panera, someplace for lunch. I've got a great opportunity, and it is going to change your life.
Then you show up at Panera Bread. All of a sudden, you're ambushed by people in suits who are driving luxury cars with the name of the brand on the back of the vehicle. And you're like, what happened? Now, without the shady shamockery-ness of that sort of culture, but the people who are calling you, they are shameless in their calling. So what we have to do right now is we have to go, boop, 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 boop. Hey, is this Carl? Carl, hey, real quick. I wanted to I'm going to text you real quick, a quick video that explains to you about what's going on with our country. Could you please, I promise I have nothing to sell you at all. Could you take 5 minutes and watch it? And they'll go, sure. Because you're not asking for anything. You go, can I text it to you? Sure. Now, what I would recommend you would do, and I'll send this to you, I don't want it to be like a self-serving thing, like I'm saying that I'm the only person on the planet that has intelligent information to share. But I've put together what I believe to be the most pithy sort of best way to explain the Great Reset very quickly. and it's called In Their Own Words. Now, your listeners can find it right now by going to rumble.com and searching for In Their Own Words, because it is in their own words. And if you do a search, again, go to rumble.com and search for In Their Own Words, because it's not you pontificating, it's not me pontificating, it is the Great Reset explained in their own words. So you have 26 facts related to the Great Reset, where you're going to see people like Klaus Schwab. I just sent it to you. Yuval Noah Harari, Elon Musk, these sorts of people explaining the agenda. And it really does wake a lot of people up when they hear this agenda explained in their own words. I think a lot of people need to hear it in their own words. So I would just call everybody, and I'm not kidding. I mean this. Folks, you're talking to a guy right now. This is all I do all day. I own businesses, very successful companies. But what I'm doing is I am blocking out time in my schedule for the specific purposes of trying to save this republic. Why? Because I have 5 kids and I think it's worth saving. I have nothing to sell to you. I'm not trying to sell a product to you. I'm just trying to help you save our country. So if the link I sent to you in the private chat, if it's possible to share that with your friends and family, I would do it. Or if you want another way, folks, to access this, you can go to timetofreeamerica.com/revelation. I'm not playing Tetris. I'm just pulling up the video clip here. timetofreeamerica.com/revelation. I'm going to send you a link right now, too. This is another one, again, in their own words. So I got 2, and you can find it at timetofreeamerica.com/revelation. So, again, role playing. If you were a client, if somebody out there listening was a client of mine, I just worked with a mortgage client today, role playing how we cold call realtors. So I'm going to role play. It's going to be kind of a one-sided role play, but here's the call. I'm going to call you, Brian. Okay. I'm cold calling you. By the way, if you have a sales organization, folks, you want to role play with your team. So I'm going to cold call you. And here we go. Ready?
Cool.
Hey, is this Brian?
Hey, yeah, this is Brian. What's up?
Brian, this is Clay, man. I know it's been a while since we talked. How are you?
Hey, Clay, doing good. Long time no chat. What's going on?
Brother, I've got I won't keep you more than 30 seconds. There's a lot of stuff obviously going on with our country. And I wanted to send you a quick 5-minute video just so that you know what I know. It's a lot of crazy stuff. And I wanted to send it to you. If I sent you a 5-minute video, I don't want to sell you anything. I don't want to buy anything from you. I don't want you to buy anything from me. There's no transaction. I just want to see, can I send it to you? Could you take 5 minutes and watch it?
Just 5 minutes, Clay, for sure.
Yeah, and if you feel compelled to call me and tell me your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. If not, I get it. It's just there's a lot going on with our country, and I'm sincerely concerned about it. I've got 5 kids. I know you do too. And I know I met you back in the day through soccer practice, and I just felt like you needed to know.
Clay, what's the video about?
Man, well, you got this guy named Klaus Schwab. And it's in his own words so you can hear it. But he's the head of the World Economic Forum. I don't know if you've heard about this guy, but he's out there talking about implementing what's called the Great Reset. And it's really just not positive. And I wouldn't call you. I haven't called you in years about anything political. I haven't pushed anything. I'm not trying to sell anything. I just want you to see it just so you can know. And then I'd love to get your thoughts if you feel the need to call back.
Yeah, and am I buying a book of yours afterwards too, or what are we doing?
No book, no infomercial, nothing to buy, nothing to sell, no downline, no product, no referrals, nothing. I just want to see if you could check it out.
So, Clay, you're just calling me to make sure I'm aware of what's going on right now because you care that much about this?
It's kind of like Paul Revere. I would call myself I'm Paul Revering. I really think we're in a dangerous spot in our country, and I just want you to see it.
All right, Clay, I'm gonna go ahead and check it out. Can you send it over to me?
Yep. Now, real quick, this is a real story. I actually, and I'm not kidding, I've called thousands and thousands. On your phone, you have contacts that you accumulate over the years. If you're in business a lot, you're going to have a lot of contacts. And when this first Great Reset began, the lockdowns, quarantines, curfews, I'm not kidding. I went through all the contacts in my phone. And I did just that.
Wow. And
we all need to do it because we got to step out of our comfort zone or we're going to lose this republic.
Well, what was the feedback, by the way, Clay? I know we did a role play there, and I was for the sake of the role play, it was quicker to go through. But like, I'm sure that there were some folks who were like, okay, Clay, sure. But I'm curious, what was just that general feedback?
Well, a little bit of bias. I'll just be real. Because I've had success in business, certain people probably listen to me more than they would if I hadn't been successful in business.
Yep.
But there was a guy named Tony who called me. He goes, I'll watch it. Calls me back. Dude, this is crazy. Like, you could tell he was emotionally jarred. I mean, this is a guy who never misses an NFL game.
Blew his brain.
Probably votes conservative, but doesn't talk about it.
Right.
Great guy. And he's going, holy crap. Another guy I talked to named Kirk was emotionally disturbed when he called me. Like, not mad at me, but it was his normalcy bias because he kind of knew I think everybody kind of knows right now something weird is going on. I think a lot of people know, hey, there's something weird going on, but they can't quite put their finger on it. And he was so emotionally disturbed that he just needed to. He calls me, and I'll try to role play it, but he calls me and he's like, hey, what are we gonna do, man? Like, our kids, like, do they have a future? Like, what are we gonna do? I mean, he was just so concerned that he needed just to vent. Well, he actually is now a very outspoken proponent of fighting for freedom and the truth and that kind of thing. I was on a gondola last Saturday in Breckenridge, true story. And I'm on the gondola, and gondola friends are kind of fun because you're with them for about 9 minutes, 10 minutes, and you probably will never see them again unless you run into them again on the slopes, And I was there in town for a little business thing I was working on. And so the guy in the gondola, I said, hey, where are you from? The guy says, Argentina. I said, what are your thoughts on Milei? He goes, he's like Argentina's Trump, man. Love this guy. And this guy's from Argentina. He's like, he's great. I love Trump. He's yes. He's into it. Then I go to the other guy. I said, where are you two guys from? The guy says, Dallas. I said, cool. What are your guys' thoughts on the election? They go, man, our country is so effed right now. We're voting Trump. Like, you can't not vote Trump. I mean, I was kind of undecided, but you got to go Trump. Well, why do you ask? I'm like, I'm trying to save this country. And the other guy, almost plastered out of his mind, looks at me and he's like, it's bad. And I mean, but again, I have conversations all the time with people. I'm not kidding. I look at myself as a struggling evangelist, and I'm trying to run around sharing the truth about what's going on. And I'm telling you, I've woken a lot of people up. I've also had people, just to prepare people. I had one guy who asked me if I could F myself. And I said, well, in what manner? I remember that. He goes, can you F yourself or what? And I'm like, define F myself. Just kind of get into the logistics. I want to know, because maybe it's possible. I don't quite know anatomically where you're going with this. And he's like, are you kidding me? And he couldn't handle it. You know why? It's because he's so into that Trump derangement syndrome thing, whatever that is. He's so into, like, Joe Biden is the best. Joe Biden is the best. The food price has doubled, but I don't notice. Joe Biden is the best. Kamala Harris cackles. Jimmy Fallon is incredible. And I'm going, what? I mean, that, so you get that there's people that are hypnotized, that are actually in a sort of a satanic trance right now, following blindly off the cliff. But if you need to wake people up, someone on the fence, maybe a middle of the road person, if you go to time2freeamerica.com today, time2freeamerica.com, for your listeners out there, I've got a really cool opportunity today. Our final Reawaken America tour is coming up in Michigan on June 7th and 8th. And we're going to have the cast of characters: Jim Brewer, Peter Navarro, Kash Patel, Laura Trump, Eric Trump, Roseanne. I mean, it's going to be an awesome event. 70 speakers over 2 days. And as always, folks, you can always name your price for the Reawaken America tour. I let you name your price because that's my sacrifice. Okay. So everybody out there, you can name your price at time2freeamerica.com. Everybody out there, we all have a different burden to bear or a sacrifice to make. Mine is to make these affordable for everybody. So you go to time2freeamerica.com. You can name your price June 7th and 8th in Detroit, Michigan. But here's the deal. If you go to givesendgo.com/Navarro, it's very urgent, very important. I need everybody to go there with me. Givesendgo.com/Navarro. For anybody out there that loves Trump, the Trump presidency was largely defined by the Trump economy. So the guy who was the chief financial advisor, the chief economist for President Trump, his name was Peter Navarro. Givesendgo.com/Navarro. He's 74 years old. The man who advocated for lowering our taxes, for deregulation, drill baby drill. This guy, Peter Navarro, the guy who really worked with Trump to revolutionize our economy, to make America, bring down record unemployment. This guy was next level, Peter Navarro. He's 74 years old, and in 48 hours, he's facing sentencing. I'm talking about they're actually going to put this guy in jail, okay? And I talked to Peter about 60 days ago, and he told me, he said, Clay, I need to raise $950,000. Now, but just so we're clear, President Trump kicked in $300,000, is my understanding, $300,000. But in addition to that, he needs to raise $950,000 to fight his case all the way to the Supreme Court. You say, well, what's he being accused of? He literally, this is an actual fact. He is a member of the Trump administration, the Trump White House, and he refuses to betray Trump. He will not testify as to what private conversations that he and Trump had. And therefore, he is standing up for executive privilege. He's standing up for the office of the presidency, and he's standing up against the Great Reset. So many great patriots, I won't name names, have decided to flip because it was more convenient for them than to face prison time or massive fines. But Peter Navarro has defiantly stood up. So if you go to givesendgo.com/Navarro and you donate anything at all, any donation at all, $5, $10, $50, whatever, go to givesendgo.com/Navarro. If you donate anything at all, and you can just text me proof of donation so I know you did it, just take a screenshot and text me at my phone number, which is found at timetofreeamerica.com, my phone number right there at the top of the website. Also, if you're taking notes, it's 918-851-0102, 918-851-0102, 918-851-0102. If you text me proof of donation, you have a chance to win a backstage pass. And knowing you're a great audience, folks, I think you have a great opportunity to win a backstage pass. And again, we're going to be giving away a backstage pass today for everybody who donates today during this crucial time where we need to raise money for a great patriot, Peter Navarro. That's givesendgo.com/Navarro. I don't care how much you donate, folks, how much or how little. I just need to help my man raise $950,000. We're $757,000 of the way there. I have been obsessing on this nonstop for the last 48 days. We're almost there. I need everybody out there. If you can hear my voice, go to givesendgo.com/Navarro and donate something to help a great patriot.
We'll make sure, Clay, because Peter Navarro is one of the good guys. So we're going to include those links in the show notes. And folks, please do your part. Not only go out if you can, give what you can, but also please, if you can't, share the link. And even if you can, share the link. So every little bit's going to obviously go and help for one of the good ones that are out there. So how about this, Clay? We're going to go towards our final thoughts. I'll kick things off and I'll let you bring us home here. So first of all, the one thing you brought up here time and again today, and this is from a sales perspective, don't tell them, show them. And,
right.
And that's something I want us to take away today. It's one thing to tell somebody how important something is, but it's another thing to show them it and let them see it with their own eyes. Because we know once you see it, you can't unsee it. So help people see things that they can't unsee. That's number one. Number two, become someone like a Clay Clark. If you are a business owner out there, you are a successful entrepreneur, whatever your role is in life, and you're looking at the situation we're in right now, and you're like, yeah, you know what? Things aren't going too hot. Well, it's going to be on us to be the ones to actually take that step and make a change. And to Clay's point, he's not just doing this to try to go sell a brand new book or promote a brand new thing. He's doing this because he cares. There's no financial thing he's getting out of this. He's doing it because he sees the writing on the wall, and it requires us to wake more people up to what's actually taking place. So I encourage you, if you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, whoever you may be, a noted figure in your community, stand up, say what you actually believe, and make the difference. Clay, that's my final thoughts for today. What do you have for us on your end, my friend?
I just would say this. I mean, you are so consistent. You're diligent. I appreciate you carving out time to have me on your show. And I would just say this, long past the time when motivation wears off, we've got to be consistent. We got to be consistent. We got to be persistent. We got to have the tenacity and mental capacity needed to achieve success. And that requires diligent. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 10:4, it says, God blesses the hand of the diligent and punishes the hand of the slackard. We all need to put in that diligent effort to sprint to the finish. It's January 23rd. We got to save this republic. We've got between now and November 5th. Everybody out there, get engaged, get involved, learn more at timetofreeamerica.com.
Love it. Clay Clark, thank you for joining us. And folks, if you got some value from today's show, you know the drill. Go ahead, give it a share when you do. Tag yours truly at B Nichols Liberty, Facebook, X.com, formerly Twitter. And by the way, all of our past appearances here with Clay Clark on the Brian Nichols Show should be found over at briannicholsshow.com. We'll make sure we include those links as well in the show notes. Catch us on your favorite podcasting platform or video platform. Rumble, YouTube. We upload our episodes to X.com. Ben Swan Sovereign, also on the podcasting, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music. One last thing. If you enjoyed today's episode, let me know. Send me a 5-star rating and review and email me, Brian at briannicholsshow.com. That's all we have for you. One more time, Brian Nichols Show, powered by AMP America. Thanks for joining us. Brian Nichols signing off for Clay Clark. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to The Brian Nichols Show. Find more episodes at briannicholsshow.com.